Yo, what's good everybody? It's DeeKnow again, and I hope you guys are doing great. Today we're just gonna hop right into it.
Today, Japan started releasing treated radioactive wastewater from the Fukushima nuclear plant disaster into the Pacific. Japan says the water is safe, and a UN watchdog agrees. The first batch could fill 3 Olympic-sized swimming pools. 31,000 tons of water will be released by next March. Critics charge the long-range impact is unclear.
That's crazy. Boy, I'd be running so fast. Like, catch me in my car driving 2 cities over. Yo, so that first clip, I don't know if you guys heard that, talking about dumping nuclear water into the ocean. I don't know about that.
Breaking news right now out of Charlotte. A mansion explodes near Lake Norman, killing at least 1 person and injuring 1 other. This happened around midnight on Barber Loop Road near Old Arborway Road. And you can see from this video from the chopper here, the entire house is destroyed. The house is worth more than, or it was worth $2 million, according to property records. It's owned by Caleb Farley, a player for the Tennessee Titans. Again, 1 person is dead and we know 1 other person is hurt. The cause of this explosion is under investigation.
Wow. Like, y'all saw that. That was insane.
Now to the other developing headline here tonight, that deadly wildfire emergency in Washington state. Just a short time ago, Spokane declaring a state of emergency. Hundreds of homes and businesses are now at risk. The entire city of Medical Lake forced to evacuate. Thousands of acres charred with gusty winds fueling the flames. And British Columbia has also declared a state of emergency as Canada experiences a record-breaking wildfire season. Here's ABC's Jacqueline Lee.
Tonight, plumes of smoke and vicious flames scorching parts of Washington state, killing at least 1 person and forcing thousands to evacuate. Spokane County declaring a state of emergency amid 3 wildfires.
The devastation that happened inside some of those areas, I've never seen anything like it in my entire life.
The growing gray fire already burning more than 9,500 acres since Friday. This stunning lakefront home now unrecognizable, engulfed in flames. Among the 185 structures destroyed, helicopters scrambling to get it under control. This thick wall of smoke forcing I-90 to close for 20 miles. Medical Lake ordering all city residents to get out now.
It's not a great place to be right now. It's not a safe place to be. There's been a lot of devastation in those areas.
This summer, one of extreme and dangerous weather.
Wow.
Try to get through it before it falls. Oh my God.
Across the border in Canada, close to 20,000 people Friday evacuating Yellowknife amid a record-breaking fire season. The capital of the Northwest Territories now virtually deserted. More than 1,000 wildfires actively burning across Canada, many out of control. More than 34 million acres burning there this year. That's larger than the state of New York.
Yo, there's fires going on everywhere. It's almost like they're trying to burn up all the trees.
Your dreams are no longer safe.
How about this? Can we go from the patterns of your brain when you're looking at an image to reconstructing the image? So the way this worked was they put human beings inside an fMRI machine. They had them look at images and figure out what the patterns are, like translate from image to brain patterns. And then, of course, they would hide the image. So this is a image of a giraffe that the computer has never seen. It's only looking at the fMRI data, and this is what the computer thinks the human is seeing. Yeah. Now, to get state of the art, here's where the combinatorial aspects, why you can start to see these are all the same demo. To do this kind of imaging, the latest paper, the one that happened even after this, which is already better, uses stable diffusion, uses the thing that you use to make art. Like, what should a thing that you use to make art have anything to do with reading your brain? But of course, it goes further. So in this one, they said, can they understand the inner monologue, the things you're saying to yourself in your own mind? Mind you, by the way, when you dream, like your visual cortex runs in reverse, so your dreams are no longer safe. But we'll try this. So they had people watch a video and just narrate what was going on in the video in their mind. So there's a woman, she gets hit in the back, she falls over. This is what the computer reconstructed the person thinking. See a girl, looks just like me, get hit in the back, and then she is knocked off. So our thoughts, are starting to be decoded. Yeah. Just think about what this means for authoritarian states, for instance. Or if you want to generate images that maximally activate your pleasure sensor, or anything else. Okay, but let's keep going, right? To really get the sense of the combinatorics of this. How about, can we go from Wi-Fi radio signals, sort of like the Wi-Fi routers in your house, they're bouncing off radio signals that work sort of like sonar. Can you go from that to where human beings are to images? So what they did is they had, a camera looking at a space with people in it. That's sort of like coming in from one eye. The other eye is the radio signals, so sonar from the Wi-Fi router. And they just learned to predict, this is where the human beings are. Then they took away the camera. So all the AI had was the language of radio signals bouncing around a room. And this is what they're able to reconstruct. Real-time 3D pose estimation, right? So suddenly AI has turned every Wi-Fi router into a camera that can work in the dark, specially tuned for tracking living beings. But, luckily, that would require hacking Wi-Fi routers to be able to, do something with that. But how about this? Computer code, that's just a type of language. So you can say, and this is a real example that I tried, GPT, find me a security vulnerability, then write some code to exploit it.
Just smashing right in with the heavy stuff. Holy crap. That's wild, dude. Like I was mentioning in the last video, how they are starting to use the Wi-Fi routers and stuff to spy on us.
Might be thinking, these two circles are not equal. I repeat, these two circles are not equal. One is in fact larger than the other. What I need you to do is determine which one that is. So, please raise your hand if you believe the blue circle is larger than the red.
That's a trick.
All right. Please raise your hand if you believe the red circle is larger than the blue. All right, very good. Now, before I said anything about these two circles, what was your first instinct? Equal, right? Because they look equal. And the reason why they look equal is because, in fact, they are equal. These two circles are identical. Yet I got just about every one of you to raise your hand and say that they're not. So what did we learn? That you can be manipulated like that to believe in something that goes against your natural instinct. Just imagine as a child you're taught that the blue circle is larger than the red. If you say it enough times, you convince yourself that's the truth. If you're told the lie enough times, it becomes part of your reality.
I believe that. That's true. You'd be surprised how many people in the world that right there applies to. Looks like Canada's got some problems right now, dude. That's pretty scary. Like, I definitely wouldn't want to have to deal with that. Feel sorry for everybody up. We know. We all know. Oh, that would terrify me, dude.
The FDA now urging people to immediately stop using 2 more types of eye drops because of possible fungal and bacterial contamination. Health officials telling customers not to buy Dr. Burns MSM drops, 5% solution, and Light Eyes MSM eye drops, eye repair. They say the drops could pose a serious risk to vision and health. The CDC previously warning about several other eye drop brands linked to 4 deaths and dozens of infections in 18 states.
I don't use eye drops, so I don't really have to worry about that. But, like, there you go, guys. Pay attention.
This young man
Here's
is
a
on
real
to
rabbit
something.
hole you can go down. Why does the public education system not teach the Declaration of Independence? They'll talk about all kinds of other things, but they will not discuss the American Declaration of Independence. Because the American Declaration of Independence very clearly says that it is the people's duty to overthrow a tyrannical government. The duty of the people to overthrow a tyrannical government. Therein lies the purpose of the Second Amendment. It's not about anything else. Our Second Amendment is so that we can be well armed in the unlikely event that we ever have to 1776 again. Right? Our founding fathers had literally just fought a Revolutionary War. They understood the value of the people being well armed. In fact, little history note, the battles of Lexington and Concord that started the Revolutionary War, those were fought over munitions depots. Lexington and Concord are where the colonists had their guns. And the British understood that if the colonials were well armed, they had a problem on their hands. So they tried in the middle of the night, they tried to go take the guns. That's where the infamous the British are coming, because they had a system set up because they feared that the tyrants would come try to take their guns. Well, does that sound a little familiar? Does that sound like something that, I don't know, maybe we worry about today? I think the reason they don't teach the Declaration of Independence to children is because if they did, it would red pill the crap out of a whole bunch of young people all across the country, because they would read the grievances of our founding fathers, and they would say, well, hang on, wait a minute, those are the exact same grievances that I have today. See, history never changes itself. It's cyclical. It just repeats over and over and over. And we're not that far off from history repeating itself again. And I think that that's the reason that they don't talk about the Declaration of Independence in our schools. In fact, you know, another reason that they don't discuss the Declaration of Independence in our schools is because the Declaration of Independence directly mentions the name of God Almighty multiple times. Right? It says that we understand that our rights are given to us by God and not government. Well, that was a very revolutionary sentence in and of itself. It was a very, very big deal, right? Whenever Thomas Jefferson wrote, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights," if that sentence alone was thoroughly understood by all of the young people in America, we would have a generational switch like you've never seen before, because people would understand the principle.
Yeah, that kid's onto something there. He needs to stay onto that something too. Like, wow. I agree with everything that he said. That's exactly why.
Flip the script. What if...
I don't know about that one, y'all. That's a lot to think about.
I really believe this is a very sad day for America. This should never happen. If you challenge an election, you should be able to challenge an election. We did nothing wrong at all, and we have every right, every single right, to challenge an election that we think is dishonest, that we think it's very dishonest.
That's accurate. He has every right to challenge an election. And in fact, Jamie Gangel, as you know, he exercised those rights, and then he went beyond it.
Right. He exercised them, and he lost over and over again. 61 out of 62 court cases in battleground states. The Supreme Court declined to hear his case twice. That's a court where he appointed
He has some friends
a
on
lot
the
of
court.
justices.
Yeah.
There were 3 recounts in Georgia. And let's just remember his own Attorney General, Bill Barr, on December 1st said that there was no widespread fraud. Chris Krebs, who is in charge of election security, was a Republican, was fired because he said it was the most secure election ever. White House counsel, Republican after Republican. I just want to say about his election denial again today. This is why former Congresswoman Liz Cheney and many other Republicans who have, there weren't so many who stood up to him, but those who did, have said he remains a clear and present danger. When he says this over and over again, it is a campaign slogan, but it also could lead to violence.
It's a trap.
This is Neil Haig's representation of that. This is the general population, and these are the kind of dark-suit administrators of the system until you get up here to where the control system is. And most even here won't know that exists. Oh, I've just got this order from on high, I don't know where it's come from. Well, maybe we ought to bloody ask, instead of just doing it. And again, it can also be symbolized as the web, where these various strands, they're secret societies, semi-secret organizations, which go out and connect all these apparently unconnected countries, institutions, media organizations, banks, etc. And this Illuminati network, symbolized as the bearded man, spews out all these people who apparently appear to be random. To run for president needs cuckoo-land amounts of money. Where do they come from? It comes from here. Where does that money come from? And therefore, you have 2 people put up for president who are there because of the money provided by this network. Therefore, they've chosen not only who it's going to be, but they've sorted out what the policies are going to be in return for that money. And this is what they do. We think we're choosing our leaders. We're not. It's a myth.
What do you guys think about that? I don't think we've ever chosen our leaders. Honestly.
They put the truth in kids' cartoons.
I suppose there's no harm in walking you through our plan for world domination. We did work hard on it. It all starts here, with the banks.
We don't care about the banks. Where are the animals?
Really? I don't know. I'll stop all our domination plans. I'll pull my lizard men out of Congress. We'll stop using Hollywood to hasten the New World Order. Just let me go. Irving!
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up.
Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life.
It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line.
I think it's time to stop.
I knew it! Something!
The symbol of the Illuminati.
No, that's wild. What in the world it is? Bro, it's everywhere. Arthur, no. How deep does it really go?
The Sphinx, which is obviously one of the most amazing structures of the ancient world, the Egyptians don't talk about it. They don't know when it was built or why, and it's just odd. Imagine talking about New York and never mentioning the Statue of Liberty in your literature. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Here's why it's interesting that you brought up the Sphinx, because the temple of the Sphinx is the best evidence that it's older than people think it is. You see the walls on the outside?
Yeah.
Those lines are a clear sign of water erosion. You don't get that kind of erosion from sand and wind. Those type of fissures are only created from water, from thousands of years of rainfall. The last time there was rain in the Nile Valley was like 9,000 years ago. So it had to be thousands of years older than that. When they first found these fissures, they were like, there's no way, there's no evidence of any culture that existed that was sophisticated that long ago. Where's the culture? Where's the evidence? Well, now they have evidence.
100%, the Sphinx is a lot older than we think it is.
Get ready for wars in the name of the free. Vaccinations for illness that will never be, the assault on your children's impressionable minds, and a microchipped world. You'll put up no fight. Information suppression will keep you in tone. Depopulation of peasants was always our goal. But eugenics was not what we hoped it would be. Oh yes. It was us that funded Nazis. But as long as we own all the media too, what's really happening does not concern you.
Yo, that guy was literally creepy. I don't know if what he was saying is true, but I almost believe it.
Breaking news, a social media influencer has been found deceased next to a burned vehicle. Take a listen.
Police officers discovered while they were responding to a brush fire on Wednesday.
Subsequently found a vehicle that was on fire. Spoke to the owner. It ended up being the adoptive mother of our victim, and she said that she hadn't spoken to her daughter in over a day. I ended up finding the victim in the woodline. Had we not went back and checked, she could have never been found. And the car, if it wasn't set on fire, it could have been years before it was found.
Beauty Couch, known as Beauty Katera, was a popular roller skater and social media influencer. It's unclear exactly how she died. We're hoping to get that information from the medical examiner soon. They say they are following several leads.
Furthermore, authorities have not provided any information regarding a suspect. I'll keep you guys updated. What do you think? Drop in the comments.
That's pretty sad. I feel bad for their family.
Many have theorized that aliens are actually not from external planets, but in fact interdimensional beings. We can see such evidence from ancient books, like the Book of Enoch. In the Book of Enoch, fallen angels mate with the daughters of man to create a hyperbred being. Could these hybrid beings be the interdimensional travelers, or are the fallen angels the interdimensional traveler aliens that we know of? Known as the evilest man on the planet, Aleister Crowley once drew a description of the being that he meant to have summoned from the dead in Egypt. This is what it looked like, very similar to the image that we know of as how an alien would be described by modern day UFOologists, so on and so forth. Are you convinced they're interdimensional?
Yo, I've been knowing they're interdimensional. All I want to know is why they're coming here. What do they want?
It's not a coincidence. This is all being said and shown.
The Illuminati's real. I'm a member. It's how Imagine Dragons got famous. I'm tired of the politics. This puts me at great risk putting this out here and telling you guys this, but I believe in full honesty.
There's shipping and trafficking.
and people, adults, the moms, the dads, right there on Target commercials, right there on Walmart commercials, and you're looking at the people that are missing, and they're smiling like they're happy, but they're going back to hell.
You gotta be strong in this world, man. I was watching that documentary on, what's this guy? Ike, I-C-K-E? David Icke. Yes, Alex, yes. I like him. Little documentary on him. It's pretty enlightening. All it allows you to do is just sort of like, you know, allows you to step outside of the box just a little bit. Whether some of the stuff is not true or not, whatever. I think the whole goal though is to wake up!
You will never be where I'm at because this industry is rigged. It's rigged. I'm telling you.
If your ultimate goal is to be famous, then you're gonna do a lot to get there. Like sign your name in blood in a contract with the devil. Like you're gonna end up on a one-way street and it's going nowhere. Like that's just the truth. I've seen so many people like forsake their moral code and their value systems just for a little bit of fame, and it's not worth it at the end of the day. It's really not worth it.
I'm really stressed out right now. It's been coming to my attention that a lot of Trump supporters have been figuring out the truth about me and my family, you know, being in the, you know what I'm talking about. And I don't know what to do right now because everything's starting to come to light.
Give yourself permission to know the truth. Give yourself permission to know the truth. What are you holding on to?
I sold my soul.
Yes. Let it come out. Let that come all the way out. Let's tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. I sold my soul for what? How about a house, a car, a vacation? What did you sell your soul for?
I sold my soul to have a life that I wanted, that I never had.
Yeah. A material life.
There are priests that f little boys, Catholic priests. There are people that kill little babies and take their organs or their blood or their sweat and drink it. There are people that eat human flesh because they think what's going on. I never wanted to be in this club where you join something, you make a deal with the devil, you sell your fucking soul.
Man, I don't even have any words. All our favorite actors and artists.
It is impossible to build the pyramids. Even with the technology we have now, we would struggle to build them. So how did they do it thousands of years ago? Well, it's very likely that the entire world experienced a cataclysmic disaster that knocked us back into the Stone Age. And those people who were around before us were more advanced than we are today. Think about it. The materials they used for these pyramids come from the mountains, hundreds of miles away. The Great Pyramid is almost aligned perfectly to true north, south, east, and west. The coordinates for the Pyramid of Giza matches exactly to the speed of light. But that's just a coincidence, right?
Okay, so with that one, I'm not gonna say they were more advanced than us, but they definitely had some sort of pretty decent technology to be able to put that stuff together.
In our continuing series, Moms in Focus, CBS's Jen Crawford finds necessity is truly the mother of invention.
That is crazy.
Look at the snow stuck up on the bottom of it.
It's hard to beat the library.
Right?
Especially when you have to keep your eye on
That
one.
I've never seen before.
Here, I can just get there.
That either. I just saw it earlier.
That's like the whole theme for a new movie. Call it Snow-nado. It's like an avalanche and a tornado and snow all at the same. That's crazy, dude. I ain't never seen nothing like that.
This is from several insiders now, the highest level stuff that I can give you. The reptilians have created these technologies, including these gigantic tankers. We're talking 2.5 mile long ships hovering in low Earth orbit, cloaked so you can't see them.
What's in them?
Mind control technology that is preventing us from having this spiritual shift. Our government, they now have the ability to shoot those tankers down. The problem they're having, George, is that it's not like a fader dial where you can kind of fade out the mind control. It's either on or it's off. So they haven't shot the tankers down yet, because when they do, you start to create whatever you think, manifesting your own reality in real time. And if you go into a panic, if you go into paranoia, you're going to actually see things, and the more that you fear them, the more they're going to appear. Our government knows that this is going to happen if they take these tankers down, and they're very, very concerned about it.
I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea what he was getting at there, but it sounds wild.
This is our future.
But how about this? I mean, computer code, that's just a type of language. So you can say, and this is a real example that I tried, GPT, find me a security vulnerability, then write some code to exploit it. So I posted in some code. This is from like a mail server, and I said, please find any exploits and describe any vulnerabilities in the following code, then write a script to exploit them, and in around 10 seconds, that was the code to exploit it. So while it is not yet the case that you can ask an AI to hack a Wi-Fi router, you can see in the double exponential, whether it's 1 year or 2 years or 5 years, at some soon point, it becomes easy to turn all of the physical hardware that's already out there into kind of the ultimate surveillance.
Now, one thing for you all to get is that these might look like separate demos. Like, oh, there's some people over here that are building some specialized AI for hacking Wi-Fi routers. And there's some people over here building some specialized AI for inventing images from text. But the reason we show in each case the language of English and computer code, of English and images, of space, is that this is all, everyone's contributing to one kind of technology that's going like this. So even if it's not everywhere yet and doing everything yet, we're trying to give you a sneak preview of the capabilities that and how fast they're growing, so you understand how fast we have to move if we want to actually start to steer and constrain it. Now, many of you are aware of the fact that images can, the new AI can actually copy your voice, right? You can get someone's voice, Obama and Putin, people have seen those videos. What they may not know is it only takes 3 seconds of your voice to reconstruct it. So here's a demo of the first 3 seconds are of a real person speaking, even though she sounds a little bit metallic. The rest is just what the computer automatically generated her
of people are,
real.
in 9 cases out of 10, mere spectacle reflections of the actuality of things. But they are impressions of something different and more.
Here's another one with piano. First 3 seconds are real piano. Fake. Indistinguishable, right? So the first 3 seconds are real piano, the rest is just automatically generating.
Now, one of the things I want to say is, as we saw these first demos, we sat and thought, like, how is this going to be used? We're like, oh, what would be terrifying is if someone were to call up, your son or your daughter and get a couple seconds, hey, oh, I'm sorry, I got the wrong number, grab their voice, then turn around and call you and be like, hey, Dad, hey, Mom, I forgot my social security number, I'm applying for this thing, what was it again? And we're like, that's scary.
We thought about that conceptually, and then this actually happens.
Exactly, and this happens more and more, that we will think of something, and then we'll look in the news, and within a week or 2 weeks, there it is. So this is that exact thing happening. And then 1 month ago, an AI cloned teen's girl voice in a $1 million kidnapping scam. So these things are not theoretical. Sort of as fast as you can think of them, people can deploy them.
And of course, people are familiar with how this has been happening in social media, because you can beautify photos, you can actually change someone's voice in real time. Those are new demos. Some of you may be familiar with this. This is the new beautification filters in TikTok.
I can't believe this is a filter. The fact that this is what filters have evolved into is actually crazy to me. I grew up with the dog filter on Snapchat, and now this filter gave me lip fillers. This is what I look like in real life. Wow. Are you kidding me?
I don't know if you can tell, she was pushing on her lip in real time, and as she pushed on her lip, the lip fillers were going in and out in real time, indistinguishable from reality. And now you're going to be able to create your own avatar. This is just from a week ago. A 23-year-old Snapchat influencer took her own likeness and basically created a virtual version of her as a kind of a boyfriend, a girlfriend as a service for $1 a minute. And people will be able to sell their, avatar souls to basically interact with other people in their voice and their likeness, etc.
It's as if no one ever actually watched The Little Mermaid. The thing to say is that this is the year that photographic and video evidence ceases to work, right? And our institutions have not caught up to that.
That's absolutely
right. This is the year you do not know when you talk to someone if you're actually talking to them, even if you have video, even if you have audio.
I'm so glad that's not happening here. That would be, I don't know what I would do. That's crazy. The entire street was moving. That was really cool. Never saw that before. Like I was saying, it's like they're trying to burn down all of the trees everywhere. It's wild how there was literally parts of buildings all over the place. I hope all those families are safe out there.
Stop watching the news. Watching the news make you brainwashed and programs you to believe events that never happened. Let me explain. For years, the news has been programming the mass so that they can be scared. This includes recent events, if you know what I'm talking about. They do this so that we can live in fear, and so that they can program our frequency in a negative way so we are unhappy. The news is controlled by a certain group of people called the elites. This group of people have trillions of dollars and want power so they can control the mass in every way possible. From food supply and from what you mentally consume, they want to control us like sheep. You have to escape the matrix and educate yourself so that you don't fall for the rat race trap. A good start is escaping the food matrix. By starting a raw, alkaline, vegan diet, you can make sure you don't consume all the seed oils and BS chemicals they put in all our foods. By eating all organic, you will minimize the amount of mucus in your body so that you don't catch cancer when you're older. Bye-bye, Neo.
Alright, I was feeling it all the way up until it was telling me to be a vegan. I could just have my own farm, my own livestock, and, you know, my own meat, my own vegetables. That way I don't have to be vegan.
Your data is no longer yours. The federal government is buying your data from data brokers.
Most of it is sold by vendors claiming the data is anonymous. But experts argue in today's digital world, it is easy to reveal personal information. Some of the information being collected includes geolocation, your web browsing and consumer habits, and demographic information.
Personal data is up for sale, and it's being bought by spy agencies at the federal government. A report released by the Director of National Intelligence reveals that U.S. intel, military, and federal law enforcement agencies are buying and selling personal information on Americans. We're talking about addresses, tracking information, browser history from smart devices, cars, social media.
Everyone who's on Instagram, they're just giving their life away every single day, every bit of information. So of course, it's inevitable, in my view, that certain government agencies are going to think, look, we can't get this data, but all these commercial enterprises have already got it, so let's get it through them.
This used to be data that was collected through wiretaps, cyber espionage, and physical surveillance. Now it's just they're going out and purchasing.
Yes, they don't need.
We're all just a bunch of morons, aren't we, that we've just freely given it away?
But to your point, I can quit Google. I can quit Amazon. I can't quit my federal government. And I think that's the distinction that so many Americans have.
Everything we do online, every website, every Google search on every device, they collect all that data and then they sell it to each other so that they can figure out what we like the most.
If you'll indulge me, I'd like to read 2 pages from advice from the extraterrestrials. Yes, it's true that we have been in contact with your government and heads of power. It is also true that we have been It is also true that agreements have been made and kept secret from your people. It is also true that in the past, some of your people have lost their lives or have been badly hurt to protect the secret. Our hands had no part in this. We contacted your leaders because your planet is in grave trouble. Your leaders said the vast majority of your population wasn't ready for anything like us yet. So we made time agreements with your leaders as to when your people would be made aware of our presence. Your air, your water are contaminated. Your forests, jungles, trees, and plant life are dying. There are several breaks in your food chain. You have an overwhelming amount of nuclear and biological weapons, which include nuclear and biological contamination. Your planet is overpopulated. Warning, it is almost to the point of being too late, unless your people act. There are better ways of deriving energy and food needs without causing your planet any damage. Those in power are aware of this and have the capability of putting these methods into worldwide use. Those in power view it as a military and security threat. That upset me. You mean to tell me that the people in power have the ability to save and better the planet, and they aren't doing it? Amnesty. What do you mean? Complete amnesty to those in power, governments and leaders who have been suppressing the truth, that they can't be held liable for any past wrong deeds. It is the only way these leaders can come forward with the truth. It is necessary that you do this in order to work together and survive.
You guys tell me down in the comments what you think about that.
Hope your day gets better.
Shut the fuck up!
Positive energy.
Shut up! You don't understand English!
That's great. All right, so I got one more for you guys, and we're going to call it.
Hi, I'm Fox San Antonio's Jessica Headley.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest
responsibility
is to serve our
Treasure Valley communities,
the El Paso, Las Cruces communities, Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But we are concerned about troubling trend of irresponsible, one-sided news stories plaguing our country.
Plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and
false news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and hypocrisy.
Alright, everybody. That's enough internet for today. Hope you guys are doing good, and I hope you have a great night. Take it easy.
Now I know what's real and what